My child, stop right there, my child. This message is not sluchadikapkiano reaching you. If you clicked on this, it is because your heart has been crying in silence. Your spirit has been waiting longer than you thought you could endure. And you have been whispering, please answer me. I am waiting. Stay with me all the way to the end, because what I am about to speak will touch the very place in you that is tired, confused, and almost ready to let go. Do not skip ahead. Do not leave this halfway. Let every word reach you, because this is not just encouragement, it is an answer. I am going to uncover what this waiting has really been doing inside you, what I have been doing in the silence, and why this moment may be far more important than you realize. Listen closely. What happens in your heart through this message will matter. My beloved child, I know how long this has felt to you. I know how many times you have looked up in the quiet and asked me, with a heart that was already tired before the words even formed, please answer me. I am waiting. I have heard that cry more times than you realize. I have heard it when you spoke it clearly, and I have heard it when you could not even put it into words because the ache in you was too deep to explain. You have been carrying this question through ordinary days, through sleepless nights, through moments when you smiled in front of people who had no idea how much your spirit was straining under the surface. And I want you to know, before anything else, that your waiting has not been invisible to me. You have not been standing alone in some forgotten corner of your life while heaven looked elsewhere. I have been with you in every single moment of it. I was there when you checked for a sign and saw nothing. I was there when you hoped that today would be different and then had to sit with the disappointment of another unanswered day. I was there when you tried to stay strong because you thought that if you fell apart, no one would know how to hold you together. You have asked me for an answer, but beneath that question was something even more personal, something even more fragile. You were not only asking for information. You were asking if I still cared enough to respond. You were asking if your pain still mattered to me. You were asking if I still noticed you after all this time. And my child, I do. I always have. You are not difficult for me to love because you are weary. You are not harder for me to listen to because you have asked the same thing more than once. You do not become less precious to me because you have reached the edge of your strength. If anything, I've held you even closer in these moments, because I know how the waiting changes a person when it stretches longer than they expected. I know how it begins to touch your confidence. I know how it can make you question your discernment, your worth, your hope, and even your ability to trust me the way you once did. I have watched you try to hold on to faith while also trying to survive the silence, and I am not disappointed in how human that has felt for you. I am not asking you to pretend that this has been easy. I am not asking you to act like the delay has not hurt. I know it has. I know there were moments when you wondered if I had stepped back. I know there were moments when you thought maybe I had already answered in some way you failed to understand, and then you blamed yourself for not hearing me clearly. I know there were moments when you compared your life to others and wondered why it seemed like they were moving forward while you remained in the same place, carrying the same prayer, asking the same question, trying not to let the same ache break your spirit. But I need you to hear me now with the deepest part of your heart. My silence has never meant your abandonment. My timing has never meant your rejection. My quiet has never meant that I stopped caring. I have seen every tear you brushed away quickly. I have seen every pause in your day when your mind drifted back to the same burden. I have seen the way you still tried to show up even when your soul felt worn thin. I have seen how much courage it has taken for you just to keep going when you were not sure where this road was leading. And I have treasured that courage, even when you did not recognize it in yourself. You have called yourself weak in this season, but I have seen strength in places you thought were empty. You have called yourself confused, but I have seen a heart that still turned toward me even when it did not understand. You have called yourself tired, and you were right, but I have also seen that you never fully let go of me, even in the moments when your grip felt fragile. That matters to me more than you know. I am not standing over you measuring how polished your faith sounds. I am sitting close to you, feeling the weight you have carried, understanding the cost of every day you stayed, every day you hoped, every day you asked again without fully giving in to despair. And now I am speaking because I do not want you to spend another moment believing that I missed any part of this. I have been listening. I have been watching. I have been near. And even before I explain anything else, I want your heart to rest in this truth. You were never waiting alone. And because you were never waiting alone, I need to tell you something that may begin to soften the fear that has been building inside you. What you have called silence has not been emptiness. What you have called delay has not been neglect. I know it felt that way to you, and I am not minimizing that pain. I know how heavy unanswered longing becomes when you carry it day after day. I know how it changes the way you enter a room, the way you think before bed, the way you wake up in the morning already bracing yourself for another stretch of uncertainty. But while you were living through what felt like stillness, I was not standing still. While you were asking whether anything was happening, I was moving in ways you could not yet see. There are things I do in hidden places because some answers cannot be understood while they are still forming. Some prayers are being answered beneath the surface long before they become visible in the shape you recognize. I know you wanted something clearer. I know you wanted a sign that was undeniable, something immediate enough to calm your mind and ease the pressure in your chest. And I am not offended by that. You are my child. Of course you wanted reassurance. Of course you wanted to know where I was. But sometimes the deepest work I do in your life begins before your circumstances change. Sometimes I start by holding together the parts of you that are being worn down by the weight. Sometimes I start by removing what would have harmed you if I had opened the door too soon. Sometimes I start by strengthening the part of you that will need to stand steady when the answer finally arrives. You have been looking for movement in the visible, but I have been doing sacred work in the invisible. I have been preserving you in ways you did not notice. I have been preventing certain outcomes that would have looked like blessings at first and then left you carrying even deeper wounds. I have been protecting you from decisions you would have made out of exhaustion rather than peace. I have been closing paths that might have felt like relief in the moment but would have slowly pulled you farther from the life I am shaping for you. You do not know how many times my mercy has looked like delay. You do not know how many times my love has looked like a door that would not open. And I know that truth is hard to receive when your heart has been asking for something so deeply, because pain narrows your vision and makes immediate relief feel like the only answer that could possibly matter. But I see further than this moment, and I have never stopped carrying your future carefully. I have not misplaced your prayer. I have not forgotten the promise hidden inside your longing. I have not looked at your tears and decided they were too small to matter. Everything you have brought to me has been held with care. Even now, as you listen, I want you to stop measuring my love by how quickly things changed around you. I want you to stop assuming that a delayed answer means a closed heaven. I want you to stop punishing yourself for not being able to feel peace every day in the middle of uncertainty. You are not failing because this has been hard. You are not faithless because you asked me again. You are not less spiritual because the waiting made you ache. You are human, and you are mine, and I have loved you tenderly through every complicated emotion this season has pulled out of you. So stay here with me for this moment. Let your shoulders come down a little. Let your breathing slow. Let your heart hear what your fear has been interrupting. I am answering you now, not with cold distance, not with correction, but with the kind of nearness you have needed for a long time. You asked me if I heard you. I did. You asked me if I saw what this was doing to you. I do. You asked me if I still cared. I never stopped. And as we continue, I want you to carry this with you into the next part of what I say. The waiting has been real. The pain has been real. The questions have been real. But so has my presence, and so has my hand on your life, even in the places where you could not yet recognize it. My beloved child, I want you to look again at this season you have been calling empty, because I know how you have described it in your own mind. You have looked at these days and seen stillness where you wanted movement. You have looked at this chapter and seen delay where you wanted progress. You have looked at your life and wondered if anything meaningful could really be happening beneath all this waiting. You have said to yourself, sometimes with sadness and sometimes with frustration, nothing is changing. Nothing is moving. Nothing is opening. I am standing in the same place, carrying the same burden, asking the same question. And from where you stand, I understand why it has looked that way. I understand why you have called it empty. When the visible signs are few, the soul can start believing there is no hidden work. When the answers do not arrive in the form you expected, the mind begins to label the season as barren. But I want you to stop and let me show you something deeper. What you thought was emptiness was preparation. What looked like stillness to you was movement in the roots. What felt like nothing was not nothing at all. I have been working in ways that do not always announce themselves loudly. I have been moving pieces you cannot see, adjusting paths you have not yet walked, protecting doors you were not ready to enter, and clearing spaces that were too crowded with the wrong things to hold what I am bringing next. I know you wanted visible proof. I know you wanted something you could point to and say, there, now I know something is happening. And I do not blame you for wanting that. You are human, and visible change feels safer to a tired heart. But some of the most sacred work I do in your life begins underground, beneath the surface, in the quiet places where nothing looks impressive yet everything is being formed. Think about how often you have mistaken hidden growth for wasted time. Think about how quickly the human heart assumes that what it cannot see must not be real. That is what has been happening here. You have been standing over sacred soil and calling it empty because the harvest was not visible yet. You have been sitting in the middle of deep preparation and naming it delay because the fruit had not broken through the ground. But I have been doing more than you realize. I have been working on you, yes, but not only on you. I have been working around you. I have been working ahead of you. I have been working behind the scenes in places your hands could never reach. I have been redirecting what would have harmed you. I have been keeping certain voices away from your next season. I have been slowing down what would have overwhelmed you if it arrived before your inner life was strengthened enough to hold it. I have been teaching your heart how to remain anchored when the visible world gives you little to hold. And I know that kind of preparation rarely feels exciting while you are inside it. It often feels ordinary. It can feel frustrating. It can feel like you are circling the same mountain while nothing changes except your level of fatigue. But do not misread ordinary days. Do not dismiss quiet seasons. Do not insult the invisible work by calling it absent. I have never been idle with your life. Not one day. Not one prayer. Not one ache. I have not wasted a single tear you shed in this chapter. I have not ignored the hours when you felt stuck. I have not overlooked the slow inner shifts that even you have barely noticed. Some of the things you once reacted to immediately, you now carry differently. Some fears that used to rule you now only visit. Some wounds that once controlled your choices now ache but no longer decide your direction. Some desires that once felt urgent have begun to soften, not because they do not matter, but because I have been purifying what drives them. That is not emptiness. That is preparation. That is quiet transformation. That is the slow, sacred work of becoming someone who can receive what is coming without being crushed by it. So I want you to do something right now. Reconsider this season. Look again. Ask me to show you what I have been doing beneath the surface. Ask me to help you see where I have been preserving you, shaping you, redirecting you, and refining your heart. Do not write the other chapter just because it was quiet. Do not call it wasted because it was slow. Sit with me in the soil a little longer. Let me teach you to recognize the beauty of roots before fruit appears. Let me help you trust the underground work. Because the truth is, my child, what looks empty to a hurried eye is often the exact place where destiny is being formed. And I want to take this even further with you, because if you only hear that I was preparing you, you might still miss how personal and precise that preparation has been. This was not vague. This was not random. This was not me leaving you in some generic season of waiting and hoping you would eventually figure out the lesson on your own. I have been deliberate. I have been careful. I have been specific. I know exactly what I am building in you and around you, and I know exactly why the timing has mattered. There are blessings you have asked for that would have landed on old foundations if I had released them earlier. There are doors you begged me to open that would have connected to patterns I am now healing in you. There are opportunities you thought you were ready for that would have magnified your stress instead of multiplying your peace. There are relationships you longed to restore or begin that would have stirred the same wounds because your heart was still carrying too much fear, too much self-doubt, too much pain from the past. I say this with tenderness, not criticism. I am not shaming the version of you that wanted relief quickly. I understand why you wanted it. But because I love you, I refuse to build your next season on unstable ground. I would rather let you feel the discomfort of waiting than hand you something that would deepen your confusion later. That is not cruelty. That is careful fathering. That is love with foresight. That is mercy that looks beyond the moment. So when you think back on this season, do not only remember what you lacked. Remember what was being cleared. Remember what was being untangled. Remember what was being protected. Remember what was being strengthened. You may not have had the visible answer yet, but you were not empty-handed. You were being given endurance. You were being given discernment. You were being given a deeper capacity to hear me beneath noise. You were being taught how to separate urgency from truth. You were being shown how much of your peace had been tied to outcomes, so I could lovingly loosen that knot and make your inner life steadier. And yes, you were being guarded. More than you know. There were things I did not let reach you. There were entanglements I quietly blocked. There were moments when your own frustration almost pushed you toward choices that would have created longer pain, and I restrained that path. You called it another delay. I called it rescue. You called it another closed door. I called it protection. You called it emptiness. I called it preparation. That is why I want you to stop grieving this season as if it held nothing. It held more than you can currently measure. It held invisible victories. It held hidden pruning. It held sacred restraint. It held the kind of deep internal work that often makes the visible breakthrough sustainable when it finally arrives. So receive this truth and let it change how you stand in the days ahead. Do not drag yourself through this chapter as though it is a meaningless hallway between real moments. Treat it as holy ground. Walk through it with awareness. Ask me what I am forming today, not only what I am withholding. Invite me into the ordinary hours. Let me show you where I am speaking through small shifts, through changed desires, through new boundaries, through a deeper hunger for peace, through a quieter but more honest faith. And when fear tells you that nothing is happening, answer it with truth. Not in a rehearsed way, not like a performance, but from a place of growing trust. Something is happening, even if I cannot fully see it yet. That kind of trust changes you. It steadies you. It opens your eyes. It helps you stop despising the hidden season and start cooperating with it. That is where maturity grows. That is where peace begins to deepen. That is where you stop demanding proof every hour and begin to recognize my hand in subtler ways. My child, I know this chapter has stretched you. I know you have wanted more visible comfort. But I also know what is waiting on the other side of this preparation, and I know why I refuse to rush it. So stay with me. Do not walk away from the soil because the fruit is not visible yet. Do not abandon the process because the pace feels slow. Keep your heart soft. Keep your eyes open. Keep your hands surrendered. What you thought was empty was full of hidden work, and one day you will look back and realize that what felt like the quietest season of your life was actually one of the most important. I was building there. I was guarding there. I was shaping there, and I am still not finished. My child, as you begin to understand that what you called emptiness was actually sacred preparation, I am now inviting you to participate in something greater than your own story. What I am doing in you, I also desire to do through you, so that others standing in silent seasons may hear my voice and not lose heart. Every seed you sow into this work becomes like oil poured into a lamp, keeping the light burning for souls wandering in darkness. As it is written, give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And I speak this over you now as a living promise, not a distant word. When you release your offering, through Super Thanks membership, with a PayPal link in the description, you are not just giving money, you are planting into a harvest of transformed lives. I see the heart behind your giving, and I will multiply it in ways you cannot measure, guarding what concerns you and increasing what you place in my hands. Do not treat this moment as ordinary. This is a divine appointment to sow into eternal impact. Step forward now and give as I lead you. My beloved child, now I want you to come closer and let me speak to something you still carry more heavily than you admit, because there are closed doors behind you that still ache when you think about them. There are endings you have not fully made peace with. There are opportunities you once believed would change everything, relationships you thought would last, plans you built carefully, prayers you tied to very specific outcomes, and when those doors closed, it did not just disappoint you, it shook you. It made you question what you heard from me. It made you wonder if you misunderstood the signs. It made you feel embarrassed for hoping so deeply. It made you quietly ask, why would I care so much, pray so much, prepare so much, and still watch it fall apart? I know that pain. I know the sting of watching something you invested your heart in come undone. I know how a closed door can feel like the closed door. It can feel like rejection, like humiliation, like wasted effort, like proof that you trusted too much or expected too much. It can make you replay every step and wonder if you should have seen it sooner. It can leave you standing in the rubble of what almost was, holding fragments and trying to decide whether to call it a lesson, a loss, or a failure. But listen to me carefully now, because I need to lift your face out of that place. Not every closed door was a loss. Not every ending was a defeat. Not every no was the death of something good. Some of those doors were protection in disguise. Some of them were mercy dressed in disappointment. Some of them were rescue that did not look like rescue because it came wrapped in grief. I know you do not naturally see it that way, because the human heart often judges a door by whether it opened, not by what was standing behind it. You saw the opportunity. I saw the hidden cost. You saw the relief it seemed to promise. I saw the strain it would place on your soul. You saw the possibility. I saw the pressure. You saw the person you wanted. I saw the patterns that would wound you deeper. You saw the timing you preferred. I saw the long-term impact you could not yet measure. That is why some doors had to close. Not because I delight in watching you hurt. Not because I wanted to tease you with almost. Not because I wanted to keep good things from you. But because I love you enough to interrupt what looked appealing when it was actually misaligned. I need you to stop romanticizing every closed door as if it was the only possible version of your future. Stop standing in front of old entrances and imagining that everything behind them would have been peaceful, perfect, and exactly what you needed. You do not know what I spared you from. You do not know what strain I prevented. You do not know how many hidden fractures I saw that would have cracked open later under the weight of your life. And because you do not know, you have sometimes grieved with incomplete information. You have mourned as if I took something precious from you, when in truth I may have been keeping something precious for you. I know that is hard to hear when your emotions are still attached to what might have been. I know some part of you still revisits those moments and thinks, but what if? I know how seductive that question can be. It can pull you backward. It can make the past glow with a false light. It can make you believe that what was closed must have been ideal simply because it was desired. But I am asking you now, with both tenderness and authority, stop calling every closed door a tragedy. Stop treating every ending as evidence that life is against you. Stop assuming that if it did not happen, then something beautiful was stolen forever. Sometimes what you call a loss was actually a shield. Sometimes what you call heartbreak was the beginning of healing. Sometimes what you call delay was the redirection that saved you from a future version of pain you would have begged to escape. So do something with me now. Revisit those closed doors, but do not revisit them alone. Bring them into my presence. Bring me the names. Bring me the memories. Bring me the almosts. Bring me the job, the relationship, the move, the opportunity, the plan, the vision that never materialized the way you expected. Lay them before me and say, Lord, show me what I could not see. Heal where I still bleed. Help me stop worshiping what you closed. That is a sacred prayer. That is how I loosen the grip of old attachments. That is how I teach your heart to trust my no as much as you want to trust my yes. Because my no has saved you more times than you realize. My closed hand has protected you as much as my open hand has blessed you. And until you let that truth go deeper, you will keep grieving some things that were never meant to carry your future. And because I want to free you completely, I need to say something even more personal. Some of the doors that closed hurt so much because you had already built a whole emotional life around them before they ever fully opened. You had already pictured what it would mean. You had already imagined the relief, the validation, the security, the belonging, the sense of arrival. You were not just wanting an opportunity. You were wanting what you believed that opportunity would finally prove about you. You were not just hoping for a relationship. You were hoping it would settle the question of whether you were lovable enough. You were not just asking for a breakthrough. You were hoping it would silence the voice that kept saying you were behind. That is why the door closing felt so personal. It did not only close on a possibility. It seemed to close on a story you had already started telling yourself about who you would become if that one thing worked out. And when it ended, it left you not only grieving the door, but grieving the version of yourself you thought would finally feel whole if it opened. My beloved child, I understand that grief. I do not mock it. I do not rush you through it. But I will not let you remain trapped in it. I will not let you build an altar to what I closed. I will not let you keep returning to old thresholds and treating them like sacred places if I have already moved on from them. You need to hear me clearly. If I closed it, you do not need to keep trying to pry it open in your imagination. If I ended it, you do not need to keep feeding it with emotional energy in secret. If I shut the path, stop standing there asking it to resurrect simply because your heart still misses what it represented. Come away from the door. Step back. Turn around. Let me lead you forward. And yes, that may require grieving honestly instead of lingering sentimentally. There is a difference. Honest grief says this hurt. I wanted this. I do not fully understand it, but I will bring it to God. Lingering sentimentality keeps you emotionally tethered to what I have already buried. It keeps you staring at the rearview mirror until the road ahead becomes blurry. I want better for you than that. I want freedom for you. I want clear vision for you. I want a heart that can remember without being chained. So I am inviting you now into a holy release. Name what closed. Admit what it meant to you. Tell me what part of your identity got wrapped around it. Then surrender it, not in vague language, but specifically. Say, Lord, I release this door. I release the version of life I built around it. I release the proof I thought it would give me. I release the pain, the pride, the shame, the disappointment, the fantasy. I trust you to close what harms me and open what fits me. That is not weakness. That is maturity. That is trust with skin on it. And now let me say something that may bring you more peace than you expect. Some of the doors you are still mourning were never actually your doors. They were nearby. They were tempting. They were shiny. They may even have looked spiritual. But they were not yours. They were not built for the weight of your calling. They were not designed for the person you are becoming. They were not aligned with the healing I am doing in you. They were not the kind of blessing that could remain blessing in the long run. So yes, I let them close. And because I let them close, I need you to stop assuming your future shrank. It did not shrink. It became more precise. It became more protected. It became more aligned. Closed doors do not always mean fewer possibilities. Sometimes they mean clearer direction. Sometimes they mean cleaner paths. Sometimes they mean I am stripping away what distracts you so you can recognize what truly belongs to you when it appears. So stay with me here. Do not go back and camp outside old endings. Do not keep asking dead doors to speak. Let the past be the past. Learn from it. Grieve it if needed. Bless it and release it. Then turn your face toward me again. I still have doors for you. I still have paths for you. I still have rooms you have not entered, relationships you have not met, assignments you have not touched, answers you have not yet recognized. The doors that closed were not all losses. Some were life-saving. Some were soul-saving. Some were simply not yours. And if you trust me, one day you will look back and realize that the very closures that once made you cry became the reasons you were able to walk into something far better with peace instead of panic. My child, just as I have shown you that not every closed door was a loss, I now open before you a door of purpose, an opportunity to become a vessel through which my word reaches those still standing in confusion and heartbreak. There are souls right now grieving what I have closed, and through this message, I am healing them, and I am inviting you to help carry that healing further. When you give, you are sowing into ground that produces restoration, like seeds planted beside living waters that never run dry. I declare over you, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and your generosity will return to you as peace, provision, and divine covering. Your support through super thanks, membership, where the PayPal link in the description becomes a bridge between despair and hope for someone else. This is not SL Duce Kapki. It is alignment with my heart to reach my children. Do not hesitate, and do not look back at what was lost. Step into what is being released through you now. Give, and let your seed speak where your voice cannot. My beloved child, I need to speak to the atmosphere inside you, because I know something else has been happening in this season. You have been asking for my answer, but your inner world has become so crowded, so noisy, so emotionally active, that even when I am speaking, it has been hard for you to recognize my voice. This is not because I am silent all the time. It is because your fear has been loud. Your thoughts have been fast. Your emotions have been churning. Your need for certainty has been creating so much internal movement that the quieter ways I often speak have been getting drowned out. I say this gently because I know why it happened. You have been under pressure. You have been trying to survive emotionally. You have been carrying unanswered questions, old wounds, present stress, and future concerns all at once. Of course, your mind has been noisy. Of course, your spirit has felt unsettled. Of course, stillness has been difficult. I am not scolding you for that. I'm inviting you out of it. I am telling you with love and clarity. I need you to be still enough to hear me. Not passive. Not disengage. Not numb. Still. There is a difference. I do not mean a forced stillness where you sit physically quiet while your mind keeps sprinting in circles. I mean the kind of inner stillness that happens when you stop feeding the storm. I mean the kind of stillness that comes when you stop chasing every thought, stop answering every fear, stop rehearsing every scenario, stop trying to interpret every delay in real time. I mean the kind of stillness where your soul stops grabbing for control long enough to remember that I am already here. Because I want you to know something important. Some of the answers you keep asking for are not as far away as you think. Some of the clarity you long for has already been brushing against your spirit in quieter ways than you expected. Some of the direction you keep begging me to reveal had been present in the gentle conviction, the repeated nudge, the unease around certain options, the peace around others, the small but steady invitations I have been placing before you. But because you have been waiting for something louder, more dramatic, more unmistakable, you have sometimes overlooked the quieter ways I lead. And because your internal atmosphere hath been so unsettled, you have sometimes mistaken fear for discernment and intensity for revelation. That is why I am calling you into stillness now. Not as a punishment, not as a spiritual test, as a gift, as a place where your heart can finally hear what panic has been interrupting. So stop. Step back from the noise. Turn down the volume of the endless internal commentary. Come sit with me. Put down the need to decode everything instantly. Release the habit of checking every emotion as if it were a prophecy. Stop letting urgency define the room. Just be with me for a moment. Not to extract an answer. Not to force a breakthrough. Just to be with me. Let your breathing slow. Let your shoulders release. Let the pressure to figure it out loosen. Let your thoughts settle without chasing them. Let silence stop feeling like a threat. Let it become a meeting place again. This is where so many of my children struggle, because they want me to speak in ways that bypass their anxiety without first allowing me to calm the anxiety itself. But often, I speak by calming the room first. I speak by restoring inner quiet. I speak by teaching your heart what safety feels like in my presence. And from that place, what once felt confusing becomes clearer. Not always instantly, but truly. So I need your cooperation here. Stop rushing into prayer only to rush back out into panic. Stop asking me to speak while keeping your ear pressed against fear. Stop treating stillness like wasted time. It is not wasted. It is where your inner world becomes less crowded. It is where your spirit begins to recognize the difference between your own spiraling thoughts and my steady leading. It is where you stop manufacturing noise because silence feels vulnerable. It is where trust becomes more than a concept. Tokan, be still enough to hear me. Not because I am withholding until you get quiet, but because quiet helps you receive what I am already giving. And because I want this to become real in your daily life, I need to tell you what stillness may require from you. It may require you to step away from some inputs that keep your soul overstimulated. It may require you to stop asking 10 people for advice when I have already been gently showing you something in private. It may require you to reduce the constant searching, the constant scrolling, the constant comparing, the constant collecting of opinions, because underneath all of it is the fear that if you stop moving, you might feel the ache more deeply. I know that temptation. I know how easy it is to stay mentally busy because inner silence feels like standing in front of your own heart without distraction. But I want you there. I want you there with me. I want you to stop numbing the room with noise. I want you to stop outsourcing discernment because you are afraid to trust the quiet ways I meet you. And hear me clearly, stillness is not empty. Stillness is not absence. Stillness is not you sitting alone with your own thoughts hoping something mystical happens. True stillness with me is relational. It is a deliberate return. It is you saying, Father, I am here. My mind is loud. My heart is tired. My emotions are active. But I am here, and I am willing to let you settle me. That kind of stillness changes the texture of your inner life. It teaches your nervous system that peace is possible before the full answer arrives. It retrains your reflexes. It shows you that not every pause needs to be filled. It reveals how many of your thoughts are reactions rather than truth. And it creates space for my voice to become more recognizable, not because I suddenly started speaking, but because you finally stopped drowning me out with urgency. So here is my loving instruction to you, and I want you to take it seriously. Create space for me that is not built around emergency. Come to me before the spiral becomes severe. Sit with me before the fear becomes dominant. Give me the first moments, not only the breaking point. Even 5 honest minutes of surrendered stillness can begin to change more than another hour of frantic mental searching. Sit. Breathe. Listen. If thoughts rise, do not chase them all. Let them pass. If fear speaks, notice it without obeying it. If emotions surge, do not panic. J. Let me be with you in the discomfort until it softens. And if you do not hear something dramatic right away, do not conclude that nothing happened. Sometimes the first thing I give you is not information. Sometimes the first thing I give you is peace. Sometimes I settle your body before I clarify your path. Sometimes I restore your capacity to listen before I answer the question you brought. Do not despise that. Do not call it nothing. That is part of the answer. That is part of the rescue. Because a heart that can hear me in peace is far safer than a heart that gets a rushed answer while still in panic. And I want you to notice the difference in my voice. My voice may convict, but it does not crush. My voice may direct, but it does not drive you with terror. My voice may ask you to move, but it does not feel like chaos pushing you from behind. My voice carries steadiness. My voice leaves room for breath. My voice can be strong, but it is not frantic. Learn that. Practice that. Guard that. When the inner atmosphere feels sharp, pressured, and breathless, pause before you call it discernment. Let stillness sift it. Let peace test it. Let my presence slow it down. My beloved child, I am not hiding from you. I am not playing games with your life. I am not asking you to solve a mystery without help. I am speaking. I am leading. I am near. But I need you to become still enough to notice what your fear has been talking over. So close the extra tabs in your soul. Shut the door on the unnecessary noise. Come away from the crowd of competing voices. Sit with me in the quiet. Say longer than feels comfortable. Let your heart settle. Let your body unclench. Let your mind stop trying to confront the unknown. And listen. I know how to meet you there. I know how to guide you there. I know how to make my voice recognizable in the kind of quiet your heart hath been avoiding. And once you learn to hear me there, the waiting will not own you the same way. The uncertainty will not shake you the same way. The next step will not terrify you the same way. Because you will know, not only in theory, but in lived experience, that I am with you, and I am speaking, and you are not alone in the silence. My child, as you learn to be still enough to hear me, I now call you into an action that flows from that stillness, response that carries my voice beyond your own life. There are many who cannot yet quiet the noise within them, but through this message, I am reaching into their chaos, and your giving helps sustain that sacred work. Think of your offering as a river flowing into dry places, bringing life where there was once only noise and confusion. I remind you of my word. Whoever refreshes others will themselves be refreshed, and I will honor every seed you release with renewed clarity and peace. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you partner with me in amplifying truth in a distracted world. This is not about obligation. It is about obedience to a gentle nudge you feel even now. Let your stillness turn into movement. Your listening into generosity. Act now, and let your seed carry my voice further. My beloved child, I know something has been happening inside you that has made this season feel even longer than it really is. Your fear has been stretching the distance. Your anxiety has been enlarging the silence. Your tired mind has been taking every pause, every unfinished moment, every day without visible change, and turning it into a story that says, it must still be far away. It must still be unreachable. It must still be so distant that I should stop expecting anything soon. I know how that story forms. I know how fear can make tomorrow feel impossible. I know how disappointment can make hope feel dangerous. I know how long waiting can distort your perception until you start believing that because something has not happened yet, it must not be near at all. But I am coming close to correct that distortion with tenderness and with authority. The answer is closer than your fear is telling you. I need you to let the truth interrupt the lie that hath been making everything feel endlessly delayed. I am not saying this so you can turn it into a countdown. I am not saying this so you can obsess over timing and force yourself into another cycle of anxious expectation. I am saying it because your fear has been narrating distance where I am already moving. Your fear has been telling you nothing is happening because it cannot see what I am doing. Your fear has been measuring progress only by what is visible, and because of that, it has convinced you that the answer must still be far away. But I see more than what you see. I see what is already shifting beneath the surface. I see what is already loosening. I see what is already being aligned, already being prepared, and already being untangled, and already being guarded, and already being set into place. I see what is already moving in your heart. I see what is already changing in your perspective. I see what is already being pruned from your attachments. I see what is already softening in your reactions. I see what is already becoming clearer in ways you have barely noticed because you were too focused on the one visible outcome you thought would count as real movement. My child, do not let fear define nearness for you. Fear is a poor prophet. Fear always exaggerates the distance between where you are and where I am taking you. Fear wants you to believe you are stuck because if it can convince you nothing is near, it can weaken your expectancy. Flatten your prayer life and make your heart settle into resignation. That is why I am interrupting it now. Do not agree with that voice anymore. Do not keep feeding the thought that says, it's probably still far off, so I should stop hoping. Do not keep rehearsing disappointment before the story is finished. Do not keep preparing your soul for abandonment when I am already moving closer than you realize. The answer may not yet be fully visible, but that does not mean it is not near. Seeds are near before they break the soil. Dawn is near before the sky changes color. Relief can be near before the pressure fully lifts. Alignment can be near before the door visibly opens. My work can be near before your eyes know how to recognize it. So I want you to stop demanding that nearness must look dramatic before you will believe it. Let me redefine nearness for you. Sometimes nearness is the shift in your inner life that makes you ready. Sometimes nearness is the repeated nudge to release what no longer fits. Sometimes nearness is the subtle peace that begins showing up where panic used to dominate. Sometimes nearness is the exposure of the last hidden thing that needed healing before what you asked for could truly bless you. Sometimes nearness is the holy discomfort of a final stretch. And yes, sometimes nearness is the simple fact that I am already preparing what you cannot yet hold in your hands. So hear me and obey this gently, but clearly. Stop announcing delay over things I am already bringing close. Stop speaking distance over what I am already drawing near. Stop letting your fear narrate what only my wisdom can measure. Instead, come close to me and say, Father, if you are moving, help me stay open. If you are near, help me stay ready. If fear is lying, teach me how to recognize your nearness. That is the prayer of a heart that is learning how to wait without surrendering to despair. And I want that for you. I want your expectation to become calmer, cleaner, less frantic, more grounded. I want you to know what it feels like to sense movement without turning it into pressure. I want you to feel the holy tension of nearness without spiraling into obsession. Because the answer is closer than your fear is telling you. And I want your heart prepared to receive that truth without turning it into another source of strain. And because I want to protect you from misunderstanding what I mean, let me say this carefully. Nearness is not permission for anxiety. Nearness is not an invitation to overanalyze every detail, to count the hours, to search every sign, to attach yourself emotionally to every tiny shift and call it the final moment. I know how quickly your mind can do that. I know how a hopeful word can become fuel for restlessness if it is not anchored in peace. That is why I am not asking you to become frantic with expectation. I am asking you to become quietly ready. There is a difference. Frantic expectation watches the door every second and loses peace in the process. Quiet readiness keeps the heart open, keeps the hands surrendered, keeps the spirit soft, and stays near me without demanding immediate confirmation every hour. That is the posture I want for you. So when I say the answer is closer than fear is telling you, I am not telling you to obsess. I am telling you to stop resigning. I am telling you to stop emotionally moving into a future where you have already decided nothing good is near. I am telling you to stop building a shelter out of hopelessness just because it feels safer than being disappointed again. Come out of that place. Do not make your home in resignation. Do not let the enemy train your heart to expect nothing just so you can avoid vulnerability. I want your heart alive, not armored. I want you receptive, not reactive. I want you alert, but not anxious. That is why I am asking you to practice a new response. When fear says, nothing is happening, do not argue with it endlessly. Simply return to me. Say, Lord, if I cannot see it, keep me steady anyway. If I am close to something, keep me surrendered. If you are moving, do not let my fear make me shut down before it arrives. That kind of prayer keeps your heart in the right place. It keeps expectancy from a coming penny. It keeps hope from becoming obsession. It keeps you emotionally available to receive what I am doing without turning the process into another exhausting performance. And I want to say something else that matters. Sometimes the final stretch feels heavier, not lighter. Sometimes the moment before breakthrough feels more exposing because the last layers are being dealt with. Sometimes the enemy gets louder because he senses what is shifting. Sometimes your own emotions flare because you are standing in a threshold, and thresholds often feel unstable before they feel clear. Do not misread that. Do not assume increased pressure automatically means increased distance. Sometimes the strain you feel is not proof that nothing is near. Sometimes it is the sign that something is being finalized. That is why you must stay close. That is why you must not let fear write the interpretation. That is why you must keep your spirit anchored in me instead of in the emotional weather of the day. My beloved child, I know this season has stretched you. I know how hard it has been not to collapse into one extreme or the other, either desperate striving or detached resignation. But I am leading you into a wholer middle place. A place where you can stay open without spiraling. A place where you can remain hopeful without forcing. A place where you can sense nearness without demanding proof every moment. That is maturity. That is trust. That is the posture that protects your heart while still keeping it alive. So listen to me now and take this seriously. Do not speak hopelessness over what I am already bringing close. Do not curse with your words what I am nurturing in the unseen. Do not train your spirit to expect distance when I am already drawing things into alignment. Stay present. Stay soft. Stay attentive. Stay surrendered. Let your fear lose its authority to define the timeline. Let my presence become the place where you interpret what is happening. And when the answer arrives, when the door opens, when the shift becomes visible, when the thing you could not see finally stands in front of you, I want your heart to be able to receive it with gratitude instead of shock, with steadiness instead of collapse, with trust instead of grasping. That is why I am speaking this now. The answer is closer than your fear is telling you. Not because I want you restless, but because I want you ready. My child, as I have told you that the answer is closer than your fear has been telling you, I now reveal that part of that nearness includes what I am calling you to release in faith. There are answers unfolding not only in your life, but in the lives of those who are about to hear this message because of your obedience. Your giving becomes like fire on an altar, rising before me and igniting transformation in places you may never see. I speak this over you. Honor the Lord with your substance, and your barns will be filled, and I will bring increase, protection, and divine alignment into your life. When you sow through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are declaring that you trust me more than fear. Do not let hesitation rob you of this moment. This is a threshold where faith becomes action. The answer is near, and your obedience is part of its unfolding. Give now, and step into alignment with what I am bringing close. My beloved child, I want this final moment between us to settle deep inside your spirit. I want you to stop running for just a little while. Stop rehearsing the fear. Stop scanning the future. Stop trying to predict the outcome. Stop bracing yourself for disappointment before the story is even finished. Stop assuming the silence means absence. Stop carrying this like you have been left alone in the middle of it. Sit here. Breathe. Let your shoulders release. Let your heart soften. Let the pressure come down for a moment, because I need you to hear me clearly, fully, personally, and without distortion. I have heard you, and I am not going to leave you here. I have heard every prayer, even the ones that were barely words. I have heard the tears that never became language. I have heard the sighs, the frustration, the silence, The moments you stared at the ceiling with no strength left to explain yourself. The nights you fell asleep mid-concern because your mind was exhausted. The mornings you woke up already carrying the weight again. The private questions you never voiced because you were afraid they sounded too raw, too needy, too fragile, too tired, too disappointed. I had heard all of it. Do not let another day pass with the lie that I somehow missed the depth of what this hath been doing to you. I did not miss it. I was there in it. I was there when your heart felt like it was stretching beyond what was comfortable. I was there when you smiled in front of others and felt heavy inside. I was there when you almost shut down emotionally and kept functioning anyway. I was there when old wounds rose to the surface and you did not know why this current burden seemed to touch so many layers at once. I was there when you begged, when you doubted, when you waited, when you questioned, when you tried to stay strong, when you got tired of trying to stay strong, when you wondered if I was still moving, when you wondered if you had missed your moment, when you wondered if the answer was still coming, when you wondered if you had been foolish to hope. I was there for all of it, and I need you to hear me with no hesitation now. I am not going to leave you in this exact place. This is not where your story ends. This is not the permanent address of your soul. This is not the room you were born to live in forever. This is not the final shape of your life. This is not the only chapter I have for you. This is not the last word over your heart. And I want you to stop speaking to yourself as though it is. Stop calling this current moment permanent just because it has lasted longer than you expected. Stop treating this season like a prophecy over your future. Stop assuming that because the ache has been consistent, the outcome will be the same forever. No. I am still moving. I am still fathering you. I am still involved. I am still present. I am still writing. And because I am still writing, you must stop reading this unfinished page as though it is the entire book. You must stop turning the current pain into a final conclusion. You must stop letting fear stamp forever on what I have only called for now. My child, I know the for now has felt long. I know it has pressed on you. I know it has exposed you. I know it has made you face parts of yourself you did not expect to revisit. But hear me carefully. What has been exposed is not proof that you are broken beyond repair. It is proof that I love you enough to heal deeply. What hath been delayed is not proof that you are forgotten. It is proof that I care about alignment more than urgency. What has been quiet is not proof that I am absent. It is proof that I have been teaching you presence before proof. What hath been painful is not proof that I am punishing you. It is proof that I am touching things that surface level comfort never could. And now, in this final point, I want you to receive this not just as comfort but as instruction. Stop preparing for abandonment. Stop rehearsing worst-case endings in your imagination. Stop agreeing with the lie that you are always the one left waiting outside. Stop feeding the story that says you will always be the exception to grace. Come back to me. Return fully. Return with your real heart. Return with your weariness. Return with your need. Return with your trembling hope. Return with your tired questions. Return with your bruised expectations. Return with all of it. Bring it here, not because I need information, but because I want intimacy. I want you close while I finish what I have started. I want you near while I complete what you cannot yet see. I want your heart in my hands while I walk you out of this place and into what comes next. Because I have heard you, my beloved child, and I am not going to leave you here. And now I want you to receive what comes next as a final, sacred commissioning for your heart, because I do not want you leaving this message only comforted for a moment. I want you steady. I want you anchored. I want you walking away with truth that can hold you when emotions rise again tomorrow. So listen closely. From this moment forward, I want you to stop measuring my faithfulness by the speed of visible change. Measure it by my consistency in holding you. Measure it by the way I have kept you alive inside pressures that should have flattened you. Measure it by the way I kept calling you back when you drifted toward numbness. Measure it by the way I exposed patterns that have been breaking you so they could finally lose their power. Measure it by the way I would not let you settle for surface answers while deeper healing was needed. Measure it by the way I stayed with you in the silence instead of abandoning you to it. And now, because I love you, I am asking you to do something brave and very practical. Release your grip on the exact form the answer must take. Release your demand that I move only in the sequence you imagined. Release the emotional contact you made with one particular outcome. Release the fantasy version of relief that has been competing with the deeper peace I am trying to build in you. Open your hands. Do it in your spirit right now. Open your hands. Say, Father, I trust you more than the version I wrote. I trust you more than my timeline. I trust you more than my fear. I trust you more than the pattern. I trust you more than the silence. Finish what you started in me and lead me where you want me next. That is not a small prayer. That is a threshold prayer. That is the kind of prayer that breaks inner chains. That is the kind of prayer that creates room for me to move without your fear constantly grabbing the steering wheel. And I want you to know this too. When the answer comes, and yes, hear me clearly. When the answer comes, you will not be the same person who first asked for it. You will be softer in the right ways and stronger in the right ways. You will be less driven by panic. You will be less controlled by old wounds. You will be more aware of your patterns and less willing to obey them. You will be more grounded in my presence and less desperate for constant proof. You will be more honest, more discerning, more surrendered, more internally steady. That transformation is part of the answer. Do not minimize it. Do not overlook it. Do not rush past it. It matters because it means what I bring next will meet a freer version of you. And that is exactly what I wanted. So now let me say this with full authority, as your father, as the one who has watched every hidden tear, every silent ache, every restless night, every trembling prayer, rise from this place of internal collapse. Do not stay bowed under what I am already lifting. Do not keep speaking death over what I am restoring. Do not keep calling yourself forgotten when I have been this near. Do not keep treating yourself like someone abandoned when my hand had been on you all along. Stand up in your spirit. Lift your face. Strengthen your inner posture. Not because everything is resolved this second, but because you know who is with you in the unresolved. Walk forward differently. Pray differently. Wait differently. Listen differently. Carry this season differently. Let the lies lose volume. Let the panic lose momentum. Let the old pattern lose access. Let the bitterness lose its grip. Let the false urgency lose its throne. Let resignation leave the room. Make space for trust. Make space for peace. Make space for holy expectation that does not need to scream to be real. My beloved child, I have heard you. I am not confused about your pain. I am not delayed by your tears. I am not absent from your process. I am not leaving you where I found you. I am bringing you through. I am bringing you out. I am bringing you forward. And when you look back on this season, you will not only remember the ache, you will remember that I was closer than you realized, deeper than you expected, kinder than your fear allowed you to believe, and more committed to your wholeness than your urgency ever understood. So stay with me now. Stay open. Stay yielded. Stay near. And if your heart trembles tomorrow, come back to this truth immediately. I have heard you, and I am not going to leave you here. My beloved child, now that you know I have heard you and I am not leaving you where you are, I am calling you into a deeper partnership with me, one that extends beyond your healing into the healing of others. What I have spoken into your life through this message is not meant to stop with you. It is meant to flow like living water into the lives of many. When you give, you become a sower in my kingdom, releasing seeds that will rise as faith, hope, and restoration in hearts across the world. I declare over you, I will rebuke the devourer for your sake, and I will guard, multiply, and bless what you entrust to me. Your support through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description is not small. It is a divine act that echoes into eternity. Do not walk away from this moment unchanged. Respond with faith, with trust, with surrender. Open your hand as you have opened your heart. Give now, and let your obedience become part of someone else's breakthrough. And once you have taken that step, let your heart return to stillness for a moment. What you have released in faith has already begun to move beyond what you can see. Now I draw closer to you, because even as you step into partnership with me, I have not overlooked what you are carrying. This is where your obedience opens space for my presence to meet you in the places that feel the heaviest. So pause, breathe deeply, and let everything else fade, because I am here with you now. My child, pause right now. Take a deep, slow breath. Let the heavy weight on your shoulders drop for just one moment. I am here. I am speaking to you. You are rushing through your day, moving quickly from one task to the next. But I need you to stop and listen to me. I am waiting for you. I have been waiting for you all day. Do you feel that tight knot in your stomach? That constant hum of worry about your future, your family, your job, and your bills? That knot is not from me. Hand it over to me right now. Let us undo it together. You live in a world that never stops screaming. Your phone constantly buzzes with bad news and endless demands. People expect so much from you. Your boss wants your time. Your family needs your energy, and the quiet fears in your own mind demand your constant attention. Your mind feels like a crowded, noisy room where everyone is shouting at once. In all of this relentless clamor, you wonder where I am. You ask yourself why I feel so far away. But I have not moved, my beloved. I am right beside you. You just keep missing my call because you are tuned to the wrong frequency. I do not shout over the noise of your daily panic. I do not scream over the blaring screens and your endless scrolling. My voice comes to you as a still, small whisper. I speak in the quiet spaces between your racing thoughts. I speak in that split second of silence before you fall asleep. Sometimes you feel a sudden emptiness, a deep craving for true peace. That is my spirit pulling you. That is my whisper. But you often drown it out. You grab for your phone, or you turn on the television, or you dive right back into your work, running away from the very silence where I am trying to meet you. Turn off the noise today. Put down the distractions that dull your spiritual hearing. I invite you to step into the quiet with me. Sometimes, you think I am silent because I do not care. But my silence is actually a gentle, intentional invitation. I quiet down so that you will lean in closer. I wait in the stillness so that you will stop running and finally sit down beside me. I want you to realize that your soul is completely exhausted because you are trying to carry the weight of your entire life all by yourself. You were never meant to carry that burden. I am here to carry it for you. My love for you is completely stubborn. My love is deeply persistent. I refuse to remain unheard in your life. Even when you ignore me, Even when you push me away because you feel ashamed or too tired to pray, I keep knocking on the door of your heart. I will never stop reaching for you. I would cross a million oceans of darkness just to hear you say my name. I see the real you. I see the tears you hide when you are all alone. I see the frustration you swallow when you feel overlooked and unappreciated. I see it all, and I love you exactly as you are. Come into the secret place with me. Step away from the rushing world for just a few minutes today. Find a quiet corner. Close your eyes. I am already waiting there for you. I have pulled up a chair for you in the quiet of your own heart. Speak to me. Tell me what hurts. Tell me what scares you. Or simply say nothing at all, and just rest your weary head in my presence. I am your father. I am your safe place. Answer me, my child. I am listening, and I am ready to give you the rest you so desperately need. You hear me asking you to answer me, and you immediately feel a heavy weight of obligation. You think I am demanding more of your limited energy. You feel like I am handing you another task to add to your endless to-do list. I am not. My child, listen to me very carefully. My call to you is an invitation to deep intimacy, not a demand for religious duty. I am not a harsh boss asking for a progress report. I am your father, and I am simply asking for my child. You spend all your days performing for the world. You wear a brave mask for your family. You push yourself to the limit at your job, and you try so hard to keep everything from falling apart. You are utterly exhausted by this endless striving. I see how tired your soul is. I am inviting you to take off that heavy mask and rest in my arms. You must understand the nature of my invitation. I am the creator of the universe, the sovereign God who set the stars in the sky. Yet I approach you with the utmost gentleness. I do not force the door of your heart open. I stand outside and I gently knock. Think of a loving parent searching the house for a lost, frightened child. That is how I look for you when you pull away from me. I search for you in the middle of your mess. I tailor my voice perfectly to the unique rhythm of your soul. I know exactly what you need to hear. When you are broken, my voice is a soothing balm. When you are terrified of the future, my voice is a steady rock. When you feel entirely overlooked by the people around you, my voice is a spotlight of pure love shining directly on your face. I have opened a door of grace for you, and absolutely no one can shut it. No man can close it, no demon can lock it, and not even your own mistakes can slam it shut. You stand in the hallway of your life, staring at this open door, wondering if you are allowed to walk through. You are. I am holding the door wide open for you. Every single provision you need is already waiting on the other side. The peace that calms your racing heart is there. The clarity you need for your career is there. The healing for your family tensions is right there. I have prepared everything for you in advance. You are the only missing piece in this moment. Your response is the only thing I am waiting for. I have done all the heavy lifting. I have paved the way. Now, I am simply waiting for you to step forward. Walk through the door. You do not need to clean yourself up first. You do not need to prepare a perfect speech. You only need to come exactly as you are. Breathe out your stress right now. Accept my invitation. Let go of the need to earn my love through your hard work. My love is a free gift, and it is staring you right in the face today. Answer me, and let us walk through this open door together. You are hiding from me. You might not admit it to anyone else, but I know it is true. You feel a deep sense of shame, and it makes you want to run in the opposite direction when you hear my voice. Just like the first man, Adam, hid in the garden when he realized he was naked, You are hiding your true self from me. You look at your life and you see a mess. You see the habits you cannot seem to break. You remember the angry words you shouted at your loved ones. You feel the crushing weight of your secret debts and your hidden failures. You look in the mirror and you call yourself unclean. You believe the terrible lie that you are too broken to speak to a holy God. I command you to stop listening to that lie right now. Look at me. Look at the cross. My son shed his blood specifically for the mess you are trying to hide. His blood is the unbreakable bridge that spans the huge gap between your heavy shame and my perfect holiness. You are paralyzed by the feeling that you are unworthy of my divine attention. You think I am too busy managing the universe to care about your specific, messy problems. You think your struggles are too ugly for me to look at. But I am not turning my face away from you. I am leaning in closer. I am drawn to your brokenness because I am the healer. You must learn the difference between a cold religious obligation and the desperate cry of a beloved child. Religion tells you that you must fix yourself before you can approach me. Religion tells you to hide your flaws and present a perfect image. But I am telling you to bring your flaws directly into my light. When a little child falls in the mud and scrapes their knee, they do not hide from their parent until they are clean. They run crying into their parent's arms, covered in dirt, asking for comfort. I want you to do the exact same thing. Run to me with your dirt. Run to me with your failures. Run to me with the anxiety that is eating you alive. Remind your trembling heart today that I am your Father, not your judge. In this hour, in this very moment, I am not holding a gavel to condemn you. I am holding out my hand to pull you up. Drop the heavy baggage of your hesitation. Stop letting fear dictate your relationship with me. You are fully known, and you are fully loved. Your mistakes do not disqualify you from my presence. They are the exact reason you need my presence so desperately. Step out from the shadows. Come out of hiding. Let my perfect love cast out all your crippling fear. Answer me with your honest, broken tears, and watch how quickly I turn your shame into a beautiful testimony. I have waited for you through so many long seasons. I want you to look back at your life and see the eternal perspective of my love. You have wandered down so many dead-end roads looking for happiness. You sought comfort in relationships that only left you feeling more empty. You poured all your energy into a career, hoping it would give you a sense of worth, but it only gave you stress. You tried to numb your pain with endless distractions, staring at screens until your eyes burned. Through every single moment of your wandering, I was right there. I did not turn my back on you when you chose your own way. I simply waited. My nature is completely unfailing, especially when your faith is flickering like a candle in the wind. There are days when you barely believe I exist. There are nights when the darkness feels so thick you cannot even form a prayer. Even then, my patience does not run out. I am like the father of the prodigal son, standing at the very edge of the road, scanning the horizon every single day, waiting to see your silhouette in the distance. I do not cross my arms in anger. I do not tap my foot in frustration. I wait with a heart full of desperate hope, ready to run towards you the second you turn around. My patience for you is massive. It is a divine, long-suffering love that human beings struggle to understand. People give up on you when you make too many mistakes. Friends walk away when your problems become too heavy. But I never give up. I never walk away. I am completely committed to your restoration. Yet, in all my power, I will never force my way into your heart. I do not kick down the door of your free will. I stand on the porch of your soul and I wait for the latch to be lifted from the inside. You hold the key. You must make the choice to let me in. Let this truth bring massive comfort to your weary mind today. I am not going anywhere. If you are not ready to speak today, I will wait until tomorrow. If tomorrow is too hard, I will be here the next day. But please, my precious child, do not make me wait forever. You are missing out on the incredible peace I have prepared for you. You are carrying a crushing load of anxiety that you do not need to carry. Open the door just a crack. Let a little bit of my light shine into your dark room. See for yourself that I am good. See that my patience is rooted in a pure, unchanging love for you. Answer my quiet knock today, and let me finally come inside to heal your tired heart. You must pay close attention to what I am about to tell you. There is a great danger in ignoring my voice for too long. You do not wake up one morning and suddenly decide to completely reject me. It does not happen all at once. It is a slow, subtle fade. You start by skipping your quiet moments with me because you are too busy. You start turning to the world for comfort instead of turning to my word. Slowly, day by day, you become dull of hearing. You create a spiritual callus over your heart. Just like hands that do hard physical labor grow thick calluses to protect against the pain, your heart grows a thick shell to protect against the disappointments of life. You have faced hard trials. You have prayed prayers that seem to go unanswered. You watch people you love suffer. Because of this pain, you started building a wall to keep me out. You confused a difficult season of trial with a reason to turn away from me completely. When I speak to you now, my voice has to try to penetrate through layers of bitterness, frustration, and coldness. I am issuing a gentle but urgent warning to your spirit today. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart. Do not let the pain of this world turn your vibrant, living heart into a cold, heavy stone. You feel numb right now. You look at your spiritual life and you feel nothing. No passion, no joy, no desire to pray. You wonder if you have gone too far, if your heart is too hard to ever feel my presence again. It is not. I specialize in breaking through stone. The remedy for your cold spirit is not a complicated religious formula. It is not a 10-step program. The remedy is breathtakingly simple. It is a completely honest, broken plea. I want you to say these 4 words right now, even if you only whisper them. Lord, help my heart. Say it again. Lord, help my heart. It's simple. Authentic cry shatters the callous. That honest admission of your numbness is the exact key that unlocks the door. I want to reawaken the sensitivity you used to have. Do you remember your first love for me? Do you remember the time when simply hearing a worship song would bring tears of joy to your eyes? I want to restore that tender affection. Let me soften the hard edges of your soul. Let me melt the ice that has formed around your emotions. Do not ignore my pull today. Let down your walls. Give me your hardened heart, and let me replace it with a heart of flesh that beats in perfect time with mine. You have asked me to soften your heart, and answering my call often begins with a single act of radical obedience. I am inviting you right now to become a vessel of my voice, partnering with me to reach millions of other hardened hearts before it is too late. When you sow your seed into this mission, you are literally pouring the warm oil of my spirit onto souls that are freezing in the dark. For I say unto you, whoever sows generously will absolutely reap a massive, overflowing harvest of my divine favor. As you give, I promise to fiercely protect your finances, multiply your peace, and shatter every heavy chain holding your family back. Answer my call and support this ministry today by giving a super thanks, becoming a channel member, or using the PayPal link in the description right now. My child, do not close this now. We have only just begun to break the heavy stone around your heart. If you walk away from me in this exact moment, you will step right back into the crushing isolation you are so desperate to escape, and it grieves my spirit deeply to watch you choose that pain over my peace. Stay with me. Do not let the noise of the world steal you from my hands when we are so close to your breakthrough. Keep listening, for your true healing is unfolding right now. You are fighting a massive internal war right now. I see the struggle tearing you apart on the inside. You know what I'm asking you to do. You know the habit I am asking you to drop. You know the person I am asking you to forgive. You know the step of faith I am calling you to take in your career or your family. But you are holding on to your control with a white-knuckled grip. You are terrified of what will happen if you actually surrender. You think that saying yes to me means giving up your happiness. But I tell you the absolute truth today. Your stubbornness is the very thing making you miserable. There is a profound, earth-shaking shift in the spiritual atmosphere the moment a believer finally stops fighting and simply responds to me. When you finally wave the white flag of surrender, all of heaven takes notice. Your submission is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate act of courage. Your yes is the master key that unlocks the very next chapter of my perfect will for your life. You are stuck on the same page of your story because you refuse to turn the page with your obedience. Say yes, and watch the story move forward. Look at the simplicity of Mary when she was told she would carry my son. She did not fully understand the plan. She knew it would bring her public shame and immense difficulty. Yet, she simply bowed her head and said, "Be it unto me according to your word." I am asking you to adopt that exact same posture for your soul. Your raw, trembling yes is infinitely more precious to me than 1,000 perfect religious rituals. I do not want your burnt offerings. I do not want your fake, put together Sunday morning smile. I want your surrendered will. The moment you say yes, an immediate, rushing river of peace will flood your mind. The agonizing friction of your internal struggle will stop instantly. The headache of trying to figure everything out on your own will vanish. You will feel lighter than you have felt in years. This is the beautiful celebration of aligning your weak, human will with my unstoppable, divine purpose. Stop wrestling with the creator of the universe. You cannot win, and you do not want to win. Let go of the steering wheel. Give me the heavy burden of your control. Whisper your yes to me today, and step into the incredible freedom that follows true surrender. You believe a terrible lie about what I expect from you. You think you always have to be strong when you talk to me. You think you need to have all your emotions perfectly under control before you enter my presence. You hold back your tears because you think crying shows a lack of faith. I want you to look closely at my son, Jesus, in the Garden of Gethsemane. I want you to look at the darkest, most agonizing night of his earthly life. He did not hide his fear. He did not pretend to be brave when his soul was being crushed by the weight of the coming cross. He fell face down in the dirt. He sweat drops of blood because the stress and the anxiety were so incredibly heavy. He brought his raw, unfiltered agony directly to me. I command you to bring your true feelings to my altar today. Stop trying to clean up your pain before you show it to me. When you receive a terrifying medical report from your doctor, I do not want you to pretend you are fine. When you look at your bank account and realize you do not have enough money to pay your rent, I do not want you to hide your panic. When your marriage feels like a battleground and you are so tired of fighting, bring that exact exhaustion to me. I am drawn to your honesty. Your vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It is the absolute greatest strength you possess. It takes immense courage to admit that you are completely broken. You spend so much time fighting the reality of your situation. You beg me to take away the bitter cup of your suffering immediately. Jesus asked for the cup to pass, too. It is human to want to escape the pain. But the ultimate breakthrough came with his next words, "Not my will, but yours be done." That is the profound answer I am waiting to hear from your lips. I am not waiting for you to figure out the perfect solution to your problems. I am waiting for you to hand the pen back to me and let me write the rest of your story. I promise you today that my presence is most deeply felt when you are at your absolute weakest, when you have no more backup plans, when your own strength has completely run out. That is exactly when my power steps in. You feel entirely alone in your dark garden right now. You look around, and it seems like everyone else is asleep, totally unaware of your private suffering. But I am awake. I'm watching with you. I am holding you together when you feel like you are falling apart. Find the brave resolve to answer me today, even when the cup you are holding is incredibly bitter. Trust that I know exactly how to turn your darkest Friday into a glorious Sunday morning. You stumble over your words when you try to pray. You try to remember the fancy religious phrases you heard other people use. You think prayer is a formal presentation, like giving a speech to a strict judge. You worry that if you do not say the right words in the exact right order, I will not listen to you. I command you to throw away those memorized scripts right now. I do not want a performance. I want a real relationship. I want the raw, unedited language of your heart. I want you to speak to me just like you would speak to your closest, most trusted friend sitting across the kitchen table. Your groans and your tears are completely fluent in my ears. Sometimes, the pain you are carrying is so heavy that words simply cannot capture it. You sit alone in your car after a long, stressful day at work, staring at the steering wheel, and all you can do is cry. You think you failed to pray because you did not form a complete sentence. My beloved child, those tears are the most powerful prayers you could ever pray. They are liquid words, and I capture every single one of them. You do not need to explain your sorrow to me. I already understand the exact depth of your ache. I have given you the Holy Spirit to live inside of you, and He is the ultimate translator of your unspoken needs. When you are so overwhelmed that your mind goes blank, the Spirit steps in. He takes your silent confusion and turns it into a perfect appeal before my throne. You never have to worry about being misunderstood by me. I read the deepest intentions of your heart long before a word ever forms on your tongue. Therefore, you can relax in my presence. You can let down your guard and simply be real with me. Develop a continuous, flowing dialogue with me throughout your entire waking day. Do not limit our conversation to 5 hurried minutes in the morning. Talk to me while you are stuck in heavy traffic. Talk to me while you are folding the laundry. Whisper my name when your boss is yelling at you and you feel your temper rising. Ask me for wisdom when you are making dinner for your family. And remember, the most important half of your answer is listening. Sit still. Give me space to speak back to you. Restore the broken altar of your heart today through simple, consistent, honest conversation with your Father. I remember the exact day you first truly heard my voice. I remember the beautiful moment you decided to follow me. Your heart was so full of fire. Your eyes were bright with hope. You loved reading my words, and you felt a deep, overwhelming joy just knowing that your sins were forgiven. Do you remember that feeling? Do you remember the complete peace that washed over you when you realized you were perfectly loved? I want you to pause right now and think back to that beautiful season. I want you to remember what it felt like to be completely captivated by my grace. Look at your life today. I ask you gently, but directly, what took my place in your daily priorities? What slowly pushed me out of the center of your affections? It was not an overnight rebellion. It was a slow, quiet fade. You started letting the heavy pressure of your career take up all your mental space. You let the endless pursuit of making more money consume your energy. You let the daily grind of paying bills, raising children, and maintaining your house drain your spiritual battery. You filled your free time with empty entertainment, staring at screens to numb your exhaustion, instead of coming to me for true rest. I am issuing a gentle but firm rebuke to your spirit today because I love you too much to let you stay numb. You have left the passionate fervor of your early faith. You are going through the motions of life, but your spirit feels entirely dead inside. I am calling you to return. I am not calling you back to punish you. I am calling you back to restore your joy. There is an incredible, profound happiness in the return. Coming back to the center of my grace is the most freeing choice you will ever make. You do not have to earn your way back into my good graces. You just have to turn around. I promise you that I am exactly the same yesterday, today, and forever. My feelings for you have not changed one bit since the day you first believed. I am still standing right here, waiting with wide open arms. Rekindle the fire of your devotion today by simply remembering my past mercies. Count the times I have rescued you from disaster. Count the times I provided for you when you had absolutely nothing. Let that gratitude melt your coldness. Come back to your first love today, my precious child. The fire is waiting to be lit again. You are constantly bombarded by different voices in your mind, and I know it leaves you feeling entirely paralyzed by confusion. You hear a loud voice telling you that you are a complete failure. You hear a voice bringing up every single mistake you made 10 years ago, playing your worst moments on a constant loop in your brain. You hear whispers telling you that your future is ruined, that your children will turn out wrong, and that you will never truly be happy. Listen to me very carefully today. That condemning, malicious voice is absolutely not mine. That is the voice of the enemy, and you must learn to shut it out. You must clearly understand the difference between my voice and the voice of the stranger. My voice will always convict you with deep love. The enemy condemns you with vicious malice. When you make a mistake, I will gently show you where you went wrong, but I will immediately offer you a clear path back to forgiveness and peace. My conviction feels like a loving parent correcting a child to keep them safe from a hot stove. The enemy's condemnation feels like a heavy, dark chain wrapping tightly around your neck, dragging you down into a pit of hopeless despair. My words are always life-giving and deeply restorative. I command you to start filtering your daily thoughts through the lens of my holy scripture. If a thought tells you that you are worthless, reject it immediately, because my word says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. If a thought tells you that your situation is completely hopeless, cast it out, because I have promised you a future filled with hope. You must actively fight against the lies. Do not let the wolf sit at your table and whisper poison into your ear. You have the authority to command the voice of fear to leave your mind in the name of my Son, Jesus. When I speak to you, a profound peace will act as a strong sentinel over your heart. Even if I am telling you to do something difficult, like forgiving someone who hurt you deeply, my instruction will be wrapped in a comforting blanket of peace. The enemy brings chaos, panic, and rushing anxiety. I bring clarity, stillness, and calm assurance. Learn to trust the warm, steady tone of the Good Shepherd. You know my voice deep down in your spirit. Turn down the volume of the world's accusations today, and let my quiet truth be the loudest voice in your life. You have chosen to shut out the voice of the enemy and listen exclusively to my truth. But there are millions still trapped in the deafening noise of his lies. I am personally asking you in this exact divine moment to partner with me to broadcast my rescue mission across the globe. Your financial gift is a blazing torch that cuts through the suffocating darkness, guiding lost sheep back to their Good Shepherd. I have declared that those who refresh others will absolutely find themselves fiercely refreshed by my living water. Because you are prioritizing my kingdom, I will actively open the floodgates of heaven, pouring out a massive blessing that your house cannot even contain. Step out in bold faith today and support this work by using the Super Thanks button, joining as a member, or sewing through the PayPal link in the description. Do not turn away from my voice. If you silence me now, the enemy will immediately rush back in with his vicious lies, and it absolutely breaks my heart to see you willingly surrender to his torment when I am actively offering you rest. You owe the world nothing, but you owe your weary soul this moment of absolute truth. Do not abandon our conversation just as the light is breaking through. Keep listening. Hold on to my words, because I am about to hand you the very keys to your permanent freedom. You look at the Bible on your shelf, and you often see it as just a thick, dusty history book full of ancient rules that do not apply to your modern, stressful life. You think it is a book meant only for pastors and scholars. You are entirely wrong, my beloved. The scriptures are my personal, fiercely written invitation directed specifically to your soul. The Bible is not a dead collection of ancient stories. It is a living, breathing document. It is a sharp mirror that reflects the absolute truth about who you are, what you are struggling with, and how deeply you are loved by me. I want you to see my divine waiting reflected in every single narrative of the Bible. Look at the story of Moses running away in fear, spending 40 years in the desert believing his life was useless. I waited for him to heal, and then I spoke to him from a burning bush to give him a massive purpose. Look at David, hiding in a dark cave, surrounded by enemies and completely overwhelmed by depression. I waited for his honest cry, and I lifted him up to be a king. Your specific, messy story is already woven beautifully into the vast tapestry of my redemptive plan. The people in this book felt the exact same anxiety, the exact same betrayal, and the exact same failures you feel today. I command you to open the book. Reading my word is the absolute first step in answering my call to you. You complain that you cannot hear me speaking, but your Bible remains closed on your bedside table. If you want to hear my voice loudly, you must read the words I have already spoken. The living power of this word will pierce directly through your flimsy excuses. It will slice through the lies you tell yourself about why you cannot change. It will expose the hidden fears holding you back and replace them with unshakable courage. There is a massive, transformative effect that happens when you finally agree with what I have already spoken. When you read that I am your provider, and you decide to actually believe it, your financial panic will begin to fade. When you read that I have forgiven your sins, and you actually choose to accept it, the crushing weight of your past guilt will fall right off your shoulders. I am waiting for you to look into this mirror today. Stop looking at the distorted reflection the world gives you. Open my word, find your true reflection in my promises, and let my truth set you completely free. I know you are looking for a massive sign from me. You stare at the sky, waiting for a dramatic, burning bush to suddenly appear and tell you exactly what to do with your life. You want me to write your future in the clouds. You want absolute, undeniable proof before you take a single step forward. But I am telling you today that without faith, it is completely impossible to please me. I do not usually speak through loud, dramatic events. I speak through the quiet, invisible bridge of your trust. You must build that bridge with your faith, even when you cannot see the other side. You look at your empty bank account and you feel terrified. You look at your broken relationships and you see no way to fix them. You look at the medical report and you feel completely hopeless. In those dark, scary moments, I am asking you to find the evidence of things not seen. I am commanding you to trust my invisible hand when you cannot see my face. Your faith is the only thing that will carry you through the silent seasons. When I am completely quiet, your trust is the loud, clear answer I am waiting to hear. I want you to move far beyond just having intellectual knowledge about me. You know the stories in the Bible. You know the right religious words to say. But knowing about me is not the same as truly knowing me. I want a deep, personal, relational knowing. I want you to know the exact sound of my voice when I whisper your name in the dark. I want you to know the feeling of my peace wrapping around your anxious mind. I am offering you a real relationship, not just a set of ancient facts to memorize. I promise to deeply reward you when you diligently seek my face. I do not hide from you to make you miserable. I hide just enough to make you hungry. I want you to pursue me with the same intense energy you use to pursue your career, your financial security, and your personal comfort. When you finally put me first, I will open doors you never even knew existed. I will pour out blessings that your mind cannot even comprehend. But you must take the first step in faith. You must reach out your hand in the dark and believe that I will grab it. I am exactly who I say I am. I command you to believe this truth today, especially when you feel entirely alone. When your friends walk away, I am still here. When your family misunderstands you, I still understand you perfectly. When the entire world seems to turn against you, I am still standing right by your side. Put your full weight on my promises. Stop leaning on your own fragile understanding. Trust me completely today, and let your unwavering faith be the beautiful key that unlocks our communication. You are carrying a mountain of stress on your shoulders, and it is entirely your own doing. You wake up every morning and try to manage the entire world all by yourself. You try to be the strong one for your family. You try to be the perfect employee at your job. You try to fix everyone's problems, manage everyone's emotions, and keep every single plate spinning in the air. This deep tragedy of trying to live life without my counsel is literally destroying your health. Your body is exhausted, your mind is racing, and your soul is completely depleted. Your independent strength is actually the very thing preventing you from hearing my voice. You are so busy doing everything yourself that you never stop to ask for my help. You think asking for help is a sign of embarrassing weakness. You believe the lie that you have to be completely self-sufficient to be valuable. But I am standing right beside you, offering to carry the heaviest parts of your load, and you simply refuse to hand them over. You grip the steering wheel of your life so tightly that your knuckles are white, terrified of what will happen if you let go. I invite you to discover the breathtaking beauty of your own brokenness. Your brokenness is not a failure. It is the ultimate gateway to divine dialogue. When you finally reach the end of your own limited strength, you are perfectly positioned to experience my unlimited power. Stop trying to glue the broken pieces of your life back together with your own weak hands. Bring the shattered pieces directly to me. I am the master potter. I know exactly how to rebuild your life into something far more beautiful than it was before. I command you to relinquish this terrible illusion of control. You do not control the future. You cannot control the economy. You cannot even control the thoughts of the people you love the most. You are driving yourself absolutely crazy trying to manage things that belong entirely in my sovereign hands. Hand the control back to me today. Take a deep breath and surrender your need to know exactly how everything will turn out. I am the sovereign Lord, and I have already written the final chapter of your story. It is a story of complete victory. There is a massive, overwhelming freedom found in simply admitting the truth. I want you to say it out loud right now. Lord, I cannot do this without you. Let those words wash over your tired soul. I am waiting for you to reach the absolute end of yourself so that I can finally begin my greatest work in you. Stop fighting your own limitations. Embrace your need for me. Drop the heavy, crushing burden of your self-sufficiency today and step into the incredible lightness of my easy yoke. I see the deep, hidden scars on your heart. I know exactly why you pull away when people start talking about religion. I know the intense pain caused by people who used my name to hurt you. You trusted leaders who turned out to be complete hypocrites. You were judged, shamed, and pushed out of communities that were supposed to be safe. You walked away from the church building with a bleeding soul, feeling completely betrayed. I want to look you directly in the eyes right now and tell you this. I am so deeply sorry for what they did to you. You must separate my true character from the massive failures of human institutions. Those people who crushed your spirit were not acting on my instructions. They were acting out of their own fear, their own pride, and their own desperate need for control. They used my holy name as a weapon to manipulate you, and that deeply angers me. I am not the harsh, critical, finger-pointing judge they made me out to be. I am your loving Father. I am the good shepherd who gently binds up the wounds of the broken sheep. My greatest desire today is to completely wash away the bitter poison that hinders our conversation. You have let the pain of your past turn into a hard wall of resentment. You look at me through the dirty lens of your religious trauma. I command you to let me clean that lens. Give me your deep-seated anger. Give me your valid frustrations. Do not hide your bitterness from me. Hand it directly to me so I can dissolve it in the ocean of my perfect grace. Let me show you who I really am. I promise you that a direct, personal encounter with the living God holds unparalleled restorative power. You do not need another religious program. You do not need another self-help book. You need a raw, authentic meeting with your Creator. I want to heal the deepest parts of your soul that no human counselor can reach. I want to speak life into the dead areas of your heart. I want to restore the joy and the simple trust that was violently stolen from you. I invite you to come to me for complete healing before you ever try to serve me again. Do not worry about doing good works right now. Do not worry about fulfilling religious duties. Just let me love you back to health. I am fiercely close to the broken-hearted, and I permanently save those who are completely crushed in spirit. Rest in my safe arms today. Let my perfect, unconditional love override the terrible trauma of your past. I am the real God, and I am entirely good. You are entirely consumed by temporary problems. Your mind is completely trapped in the daily cycle of earthly distractions. You worry endlessly about paying your mortgage, fixing your car, advancing your career, and impressing people who will forget your name in 100 years. You treat these temporary things as if they are matters of absolute life and death. Meanwhile, you treat the eternal reality of your soul as an afterthought. You give me the leftover scraps of your time when your day is completely done, and you can barely keep your eyes open. I am telling you a sobering, uncomfortable truth today. Your time to answer me is not infinite. You act as if you have an endless supply of tomorrows guaranteed to you. You tell yourself that you will start praying more next month. You promise yourself that you will seek my face when things finally calm down, at work. My child, the world will never calm down. The demands on your time will never magically disappear. If you wait for the perfect, quiet moment to answer my call, you will wait until your life is entirely over. You carry a heavy, glorious weight as a part of my great commission. You were not placed on this earth simply to work, pay bills, and die. You were placed here to be a bright, shining light in a desperately dark world. You were meant to show my love to your neighbors, your coworkers, and your deeply broken family. But you cannot fulfill this massive eternal purpose if you are entirely disconnected from my voice. You must align your daily schedule with the fierce priorities of my kingdom. I command you to recognize the Kairos moment right now. This exact second is a divine window of opportunity. The Holy Spirit is moving heavily on your heart today, urging you to step out of the rushing river of your daily stress and stand on the solid rock of my presence. Do not brush this feeling aside. Do not pick up your phone to distract yourself from the conviction you are feeling right now. This drawing in your chest is my direct invitation to eternal life. I declare that now is the absolute acceptable time for your complete reconciliation with me. Do not wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow is a dangerous illusion that keeps you trapped in spiritual poverty today. Answer me right now, in the middle of your mess. Answer me in the middle of your busy, chaotic day. Step into the urgency of the eternal. Turn your eyes away from the temporary shadows of this world and lock your gaze firmly on the permanent, unfading glory of your Creator. We just spoke of the profound urgency of eternity, and answering my call means actively investing your temporary resources into permanent, heavenly realities. I am inviting you into a sacred, urgent partnership right now to snatch wandering souls out of the fire before their time completely runs out. Every seed you sow is a heavy hammer shattering the gates of hell, delivering the life-saving manna of my word to starving people around the world. Remember my promise. Lay out for yourselves eternal treasures in heaven, where no thief can steal and no moth can destroy. As you fund this eternal rescue mission, I will fiercely command my angels to guard your earthly storehouses and multiply the work of your hands 100-fold. Do not delay this divine appointment. Answer me today by giving a super thanks, becoming a faithful member, or donating through the PayPal link in the description right now. Wait. Do not leave my presence. The world is trying to violently drag your attention back to temporary, fading things right now, but it deeply wounds my heart when you trade our eternal connection for cheap, earthly distractions. You are standing on the absolute edge of a massive spiritual shift. If you walk away now, you are walking away from the exact answers you have been crying out for in the dark. Stay here. Keep listening. Your Creator is fighting for you. Do not walk away from the battle. You often complain that you feel entirely alone in this cold world. You drive in your car, grip the steering wheel, and cry because you think nobody truly understands the heavy pressure you carry. You sit in crowded rooms filled with people, yet you feel completely isolated. I want to correct your vision today. You are never alone. I have given you the ultimate, permanent companion. I have placed the Holy Spirit directly inside your chest. He is your active comforter, your brilliant counselor, and your absolute closest friend. You must realize that the heavy, unexplainable ache you feel in your soul is often the Spirit groaning within you. When you are so confused that you cannot even formulate a proper prayer, the Spirit steps in and prays perfectly on your behalf. He feels your exact pain. He understands your exact confusion. He connects your broken, messy reality directly to the perfect throne room of heaven. He is fighting for your peace and your joy every single second of the day. I invite you to intentionally cultivate a deep awareness of this indwelling presence. You ignore him too often. You try to solve complex problems with your own limited human logic, completely forgetting that you have the literal wisdom of God living inside of you. Start asking him for guidance before you make a decision. Ask him for comfort before you call a friend to complain. Acknowledge his presence when you wake up in the morning. Say, "Good morning, Holy Spirit. Lead my steps today." I command you to learn to quickly yield to his gentle, inner promptings. When you suddenly feel the urge to call a lonely family member, do not ignore it. That is the Spirit guiding you. When you are about to speak a harsh, angry word, and you feel a sudden check in your spirit telling you to stop, obey that quiet nudge. The Holy Spirit is actively working to guide you into all absolute truth. He is trying to protect you from making choices that will ruin your peace. There is a massive, incredible synergy that happens when your human spirit aligns completely with my Holy Spirit in prayer. It is like catching a powerful wave in the ocean. You stop striving in your own weak strength, and you are suddenly carried by a massive, divine force. Stop trying to navigate this dark world by yourself. Lean entirely on the Counselor. Embrace the beautiful, constant fellowship of the Holy Spirit today, and let Him guide you safely through the storms of your life. You tell me frequently that you love me, but your daily actions often tell a completely different story. You want the deep, incredible blessings I have prepared for you, but you constantly ignore the simple, clear instructions I give you. You think of obedience as a heavy, miserable chain meant to keep you locked up and entirely bored. I command you to understand the true beauty of obedience today. It is the absolute opposite of a prison. My commands are the strong, protective fences I have built around your life. I put them there specifically to keep you completely safe from the hidden cliffs of destruction. When I tell you to walk away from a toxic relationship, or when I tell you to stop spreading angry gossip at your job, I am not trying to ruin your fun. I am actively trying to protect your peace and secure your future. There is a direct, unbreakable connection between hearing my voice and actually doing my will. You often complain that you cannot hear me speaking to you. You say my voice is completely muffled. Listen to me very carefully. Your continued disobedience is creating massive static on our communication line. Think about tuning an old radio. If you are even slightly off the correct station, all you hear is loud, harsh static. You cannot hear the music clearly. When you refuse to do the last thing I told you to do, you create spiritual static in your soul. I command you to clear the static today. Show your genuine love for me through your immediate willingness to follow my instructions. I want you to experience the massive, overflowing blessings that come from a heart that is incredibly quick to respond. I do not want you to drag your feet. I do not want you to argue with me for weeks before you finally forgive that family member who deeply offended you. Immediate obedience brings immediate peace. The absolute second you finally say, "Yes, Lord, I will do it your way," the heavy burden of your stubbornness completely shatters. Your mind clears. The dark clouds of confusion roll away. You suddenly realize that my way was always the easiest, most joyful path to take. I am calling you to make a profound shift in your mind today. I want you to move far away from the fearful mentality of a slave and step confidently into the beautiful friendship of Christ. A slave obeys simply because they are terrified of being fiercely punished. A friend obeys because they deeply trust the heart of the one giving the direction. I am your friend. I am your father. I am not standing over you with a heavy whip waiting for you to fail. I am walking beside you, holding your hand, guiding you around the deep potholes in the road. Step fully inside the safe boundaries of my commands right now. Stop testing the fence. Stop trying to see how close you can get to the dangerous edge without falling over completely. You are exhausting yourself with this dangerous game. Relinquish your rebellious spirit. Surrender your desire to always be the boss of your own life. Lean into the deep, sweet beauty of completely trusting my directions. Do exactly what I am asking you to do today, no matter how hard it seems, and watch how quickly I flood your weary life with absolute, undeniable peace. You completely hate to wait. I see how deeply frustrated you become when things do not happen exactly on your strict schedule. You live in a fast, rushing world that promises you instant answers, instant food, and instant success. When you bring your heavy requests to me, you expect me to operate like a quick vending machine. You put in a small prayer, and you expect the perfect solution to drop into your hands immediately. But I must teach you a profound, divine paradox today. While I wait for you to answer me, you must also learn how to deeply, patiently wait on me. You think that my divine delay is a direct denial of your prayer. You think that because you are still single, or because your bank account is still low, or because your body is still hurting, I have completely forgotten about you. I command you to reject the terrible lie right now. I have never forgotten you for a single second. You are inscribed on the palms of my hands. What you call a frustrating delay, I call a necessary, beautiful preparation. There is massive, invisible work happening deep inside your soul during these periods of divine waiting. I want you to understand the massive difference between passive, lazy waiting and active, holy expectation. Passive waiting is sitting on the couch, complaining about your hard life, and doing absolutely nothing. Active watching is entirely different. It is like a pregnant mother eagerly preparing the nursery for a baby she cannot completely see yet, but absolutely knows is coming. I command you to prepare your heart with that exact same eager expectation. Keep working hard at your job. Keep loving your difficult family. Keep serving your neighbors. Wait with a bright, burning hope, knowing that I am working everything out behind the scenes. The waiting room of your life is actually a fiercely refining fire. It feels incredibly uncomfortable, I know. It feels hot and restrictive. But that fire is actively burning away your deep impurity. It is melting away your crippling impatience, your massive pride, and your desperate need to control everything. It is making your faith pure as solid gold. You cannot build spiritual muscle without the resistance of the weight. If I handed you everything you wanted exactly when you asked for it, your character would be completely weak, and the blessing would eventually crush you. I promise you today that those who wait on me shall absolutely renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like mighty eagles. You feel like you are crawling in the dirt right now, totally out of energy. You feel like you cannot take one more step forward. But as you actively trust me in this long, quiet wait, I am secretly pouring fresh, divine energy directly into your weary bones. Stop fighting the clock. Stop rushing the perfect process. Let me finish the incredible masterpiece I am painting in your life. Wait on me, my child, and I will perfectly deliver you exactly on time. You are carrying a heavy, dark cloud of despair right now. You focus intensely on the massive problems standing directly in front of you. You stare at your unpaid bills. You replay the painful argument you had with your spouse yesterday. You obsess over the doctor's frightening report. Because you stare at these problems so closely, they seem like gigantic mountains that will completely crush you. I am offering you the absolute best weapon to destroy that heavy cloud today. I command you to enter the sanctuary of pure worship. Worship is not just a polite, weekly religious habit. It is a profoundly powerful way to answer my call to your weary spirit. When you choose to praise me in the middle of your severe pain, you completely shift your focus away from your own weakness and put it directly onto my limitless power. You take your eyes off the raging, terrifying storm, and you lock your eyes firmly onto the one who actually commands the wind and the waves. The absolute second you begin to declare my goodness, the atmosphere in your dark room completely changes. You are literally inviting the bright, victorious atmosphere of heaven to come down and fill your earthly reality. You cannot hold on to deep, crippling anxiety when your mouth is filled with high praise. I want you to move far beyond just singing a familiar melody or reciting a nice poem. I am calling you to worship me in deep spirit and in absolute truth. I want the real, raw you. If your heart is completely broken today, do not fake a happy smile. Bring me your tears. Give me a sacrifice of praise. It costs you absolutely nothing to praise me when you have money in the bank and your health is perfect. But when your world is falling apart, and you still raise your shaking hands and say, "Lord, you are entirely good," that kind of praise shakes the very gates of hell. The greatest, most explosive breakthroughs in your life will always occur when you choose to honor me directly in the middle of your fiercest storms. Look at Paul and Silas in the Bible, locked in a dark, dirty prison cell, their backs bleeding from severe beatings. They did not sit and complain about how terribly unfair their situation was. They sang loud hymns of praise at midnight. And what happened? I sent a massive earthquake that completely shattered their heavy chains and threw the thick prison doors wide open. I am waiting to do that exact same thing for you. I inhabit the praises of my children. When you lift my name up, I step down directly into your situation. Turn off the depressing news on your television today. Stop talking about how terrible your circumstances are. Open your mouth and declare that I am your fierce protector, your absolute provider, and your perfect healer. Fill your mind with the truth of my immense power. Invite my massive presence into your specific pain today, and watch the heavy walls of your prison completely fall down. I am looking directly at your spirit today, and I see a deep, heavy lethargy holding you completely captive. You are walking through your daily life like a completely numb zombie. You are physically awake, but spiritually, you are fast asleep. You hit the spiritual snooze button over and over again. You tell yourself that you will definitely pray tomorrow. You promise yourself that you will finally open your Bible next week when your schedule is less demanding. But tomorrow turns into next month, and next month turns into an entire year, and your heart grows colder and colder. I am shouting to you directly through this message. Wake, O sleeper. Rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. I command you to vigorously shake off this dangerous spiritual apathy. You are being completely lulled to sleep by the comfortable, mindless distractions of this modern age. You spend absolutely countless hours scrolling mindlessly on your phone, filling your brain with completely empty, useless information. You binge watch shows to numb your mind so you do not have to think about the deep emptiness inside your chest. You are letting the absolute best years of your life slip away in a fog of lazy distraction. You must understand the massive importance of spiritual watchfulness, especially in the days you are living in. The world is growing much darker, and the loud noise of chaos is increasing everywhere. You cannot afford to be spiritually lazy right now. If you stay asleep, the enemy will quietly walk in and steal your absolute peace, your joy, and your strong purpose without you even noticing. You must wake up. You must physically and mentally gird your loins, which means preparing yourself for direct action. I want your spiritual lamp to be perfectly trimmed and burning with a bright, hot fire. Remember the story of the 10 virgins waiting for the bridegroom. 5 were incredibly foolish and let their oil completely run out while they slept. When the bridegroom finally arrived, they were totally unprepared and missed the joyful celebration entirely. I do not want you to miss out on the incredible things I am doing right now simply because you are too lazy to pay attention. You need fresh oil today. You need a complete, violent awakening of your soul. Stand up right now exactly where you are. Splash some cold water on your spiritual face. Make a firm, absolute decision that you will no longer live on autopilot. Say out loud to me, "Here I am, Lord. Wake me up completely." The absolute moment you actively turn your attention back to me, I will send a massive wave of fresh, revitalizing energy directly into your tired spirit. I will completely wash away the heavy fog of your apathy. I will set your heart fiercely on fire again. Answer me with a wide-awake spirit today, and let us get back to the great work I created you to do. as you violently shake off the spirit of slumber and answer my call, I need you to help wake up a world that is fast asleep in the dark. I am calling you in this critical hour to actively fuel this ministry so my awakening trumpet can blast into every isolated, broken home. Your generous support provides the literal, burning oil for the lamps of those who have lost their way, lighting the path for millions to find me. For I declare that whoever brings the absolute truth to a sinner saves a soul from death and covers a multitude of sins. Step into this partnership, and I will fiercely ignite your own life with fresh fire, protecting your household and pouring out unprecedented financial miracles. Keep the fire burning and support this mission right now by using the super thanks, becoming a channel member, or clicking the PayPal link in the description below. My beloved, please do not hit the spiritual snooze button right now. Your spirit is finally waking up, and it would bring me profound, heavy sorrow to watch you drift back into that numb, lifeless slumber. The enemy desperately wants you to turn this off, to go back to sleep, and to completely miss your hour of visitation. Do not disappoint the Father who is fiercely fighting for your joy. Stay awake with me. Listen closely to the very end, for I have saved my absolute greatest promise for this very moment. You spend an enormous amount of time staring at your own reflection. Your prayers are almost completely consumed with your own personal needs, your own deep fears, and your own endless desires. You pray for your promotion at work, your bank account balance, your physical health, and your own personal comfort. While I deeply care about absolutely every single detail of your life, I must invite you today into a much higher, far more powerful calling. I am commanding you to move your focus completely away from yourself for a moment and look deeply at the broken, bleeding world all around you. I am calling you to the beautiful, heavy work of true intercession. Intercession means bravely standing in the deep, dangerous gap between someone else's desperate need and my limitless supply. It means fighting fierce spiritual battles for people who are far too weak to fight for themselves. Think about your coworker who is going through a terrible, messy divorce. Think about your family member who is heavily addicted and completely lost in darkness. Think about your neighbor who just lost their job and is terrified of losing their home. Who is praying for them? I am asking you to be the one who stands up and holds the door of grace completely open for them. When you deeply engage in intercession, you incredibly accelerate your own understanding of my true heart. You begin to actually feel the massive compassion I feel for broken humanity. You stop judging people for their messy mistakes and start desperately pleading for their complete rescue. You enter into a profound, intimate partnership with the great intercessor himself, my Son, Jesus, who constantly sits at my right hand praying for you. When you pray for others, you are directly linking arms with him. I have given you massive, earth-shaking authority to pray for the absolute healing of your family, your community, and even your entire nation. You are not powerless. When you boldly speak my promises over a sick friend, you are literally releasing divine medicine into their life. When you aggressively pray for a rebellious child, you are dispatching powerful angels to fiercely protect them in the dark. Your prayers have literal, actual weight in the spiritual realm. Do not underestimate the massive power of your own voice when it is lifted for someone else. I promise you an incredible paradox today. When you completely forget about your own heavy problems and decide to carry the painful burdens of your brothers and sisters, I will personally step in and solve the exact issues you were worrying about. You will find my absolute, overwhelming joy when you become a conduit of my grace instead of just a consumer of it. Lift your eyes away from your own mirror today. Look at the desperate people around you. Answer my call to intercede, and watch how I miraculously heal your own life while you are busy praying for someone else. You are walking through a completely pitch-black season right now. You look entirely around you, and you cannot see your hand in front of your own face. You are terrified of making the wrong move because the path ahead is entirely obscured by deep, frightening shadows. You look at your rapidly declining bank account. You stare at the confusing medical bill on your kitchen counter, and you wonder how I could possibly be working in this mess. I command you to answer my call today, even when you cannot see the road. You must learn to deeply trust my absolute sovereignty when the lights go completely out. I want you to see this dark night of the soul not as a punishment, but as a massive, powerful training ground for your faith. When the sun is shining brightly, it is incredibly easy to say you trust me. It costs you absolutely nothing to sing my praises when your bills are paid and your family is completely healthy. But your response in the pitch-black darkness carries infinitely more weight. When your circumstances directly suggest that I have abandoned you, and you still choose to lift your shaking hands and declare my complete goodness, that is the most beautiful sound in the entire universe. I know exactly how terrifying it feels to lose control. You feel like a passenger in a car driving entirely blindly down a steep mountain road. But I am telling you today that I am the driver, and I have perfect vision in the dark. I completely see the end from the very beginning. I saw this exact trial coming long before you were even born. I have already meticulously prepared the exact solution you so desperately need. Your tiny human mind cannot possibly comprehend the massive, complex puzzle I am putting together. You only see one dark, painful puzzle piece right now. I see the glorious, finished masterpiece. Command your fearful heart to be entirely still today. Stop frantically trying to turn on your own weak flashlight. Stop trying to figure out a clever escape plan using your own limited logic. I want you to rest deeply in the absolute knowledge that I am actively working all things together for your ultimate good. Even the terrible mistakes you made yesterday, even the vicious things your enemies did to you last week, I will take every single piece of that ugly mess and weave it into a magnificent tapestry of total victory. I am asking you to lean your entire body weight completely onto my promises today. Do not lean on your own fragile, broken understanding. When the enemy whispers that you are going to completely fail, I command you to speak back boldly. Tell the darkness that your Father holds the entire universe directly in the palm of his hand. Tell your anxiety that your Creator is fiercely protecting you. Trust my heart today, even when you cannot trace my hand. Answer me with unwavering faith in the dark, and I will absolutely lead you safely into the bright morning light. You are deeply, profoundly exhausted. I am not just talking about your physical body, although I see the dark circles under your tired eyes. I am talking about the severe, deep exhaustion of your eternal soul. You take sleeping pills, you turn off your phone, you lie down in your bed, but your mind completely refuses to stop racing. You toss and turn at 3 o'clock in the morning, agonizing over conversations you had 3 years ago and worrying about bills that are not due until next month. You get plenty of physical sleep, but you experience absolutely zero spiritual rest. I am offering you the ultimate, permanent cure for your endless fatigue today. Listen directly to my massive, open invitation. Come to me, all who are incredibly weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will absolutely give you rest. I command you to stop running on the exhausting treadmill of this world. You are running completely out of breath trying to earn the temporary approval of people who do not truly care about you. You are carrying a heavy, suffocating backpack filled entirely with the world's impossible expectations. I command you to relinquish those heavy, destructive yokes right now. Drop the crushing burden of religious legalism that tells you you must perfectly earn my love. Drop the heavy, toxic yoke of worldly ambition that tells you your worth is based entirely on your job title and your salary. You were never designed to carry that massive weight. I have a completely different yoke for you. Take my yoke upon you and learn directly from me. My yoke is incredibly easy, and my burden is wonderfully light. When you truly accept my rest, you will experience a massive, miraculous restoration of both your mind and your body. The constant, tight knot of anxiety in your stomach will completely untie itself. The sharp tension in your shoulders will entirely melt away. You will finally discover the profound Sabbath of the soul. This Sabbath is not just one day a week. It is a permanent, ongoing state of absolute peace. It is the deep, settling realization that I am entirely in control, and you do not have to be the general manager of the universe anymore. Make my presence your permanent, safe home. Do not just visit me on Sunday mornings when the music is playing loudly. Live continuously inside the quiet, safe refuge of my love. When the chaotic world starts spinning too fast, run immediately straight into my open arms. I will aggressively shield your mind from the loud noise. I will completely calm your racing heart. Answer my gentle call right now. Stop your frantic striving. Lean your tired head firmly against my chest, and let me give you the deep, beautiful rest you have been desperately searching for. You must completely understand the ultimate context of my long, patient waiting. I am not just waiting to fix your temporary earthly problems. I am directly preparing you for a massive, eternal celebration. I want you to remember the story of the 10 virgins waiting late in the night for the bridegroom to arrive. 5 of them were completely foolish. They showed up to the party with absolutely no extra oil for their lamps. They were completely unprepared when the midnight cry finally rang out. Do not let your spiritual life look exactly like those foolish girls. Your oil is the secret, quiet intimacy you build with me behind entirely closed doors. You cannot borrow this oil from your pastor. You cannot borrow this oil from your praying grandmother. You must directly purchase it yourself through dedicated time spent in my presence. If you completely ignore my voice today, your lamp will slowly burn out. When the dark trials of life hit you unexpectedly, you will frantically search for light, but your spiritual reservoir will be entirely empty. I command you to fill your lamp today. Fill it with the rich, heavy oil of my word and my spirit. I want you to live every single day with the intense, burning expectation of my physical appearing. You treat your life as if this broken, messy world is your permanent, final home. It is absolutely not. You are simply passing through. Do not build your ultimate kingdom in the temporary dirt of this earth. Purify your heart continuously through our daily, ongoing conversation. When you know that the king could return at any exact moment, it completely changes how you treat your family, how you handle your finances, and how you speak to your enemies. I command you to vigorously shake off the dirt of your daily compromises. Stop holding on to the secret, hidden sins that constantly drain your spiritual power. You want to be entirely clean when I finally arrive. The massive, unimaginable reward is reserved exclusively for those who are found actively watching and immediately responding to my voice. Do not let me catch you spiritually asleep on the couch, completely distracted by the empty entertainment of a dying world. The ultimate goal of our communication is not just to make your earthly life slightly more comfortable. The absolute goal is our complete, eternal union. I am intensely preparing a magnificent place for you. I want you to be perfectly ready to step into it. Answer my call with a fierce, burning urgency today. Trim the wick of your spiritual lamp. Keep your eyes locked entirely on the eastern horizon. Be absolutely ready, my precious child, because the king is coming, and I deeply want to find you faithfully waiting for me. I have spoken all these words to you today for one massive, overwhelming reason. I love you with an incredibly fierce, entirely unbreakable love. Everything I have said, the gentle comfort, the firm commands, the urgent warnings, as poured directly out of my absolute desire to completely rescue you. You have absolutely no idea how highly I value your life. I am making my final, desperate appeal to your stubborn heart today. The heavy door to the mercy seat is standing entirely wide open. I command you to step completely out of the cold, hiding shadows right now. Step permanently into the bright, warm light of my absolute grace. You have run away from me for far too long. You have carried the heavy, crushing bags of your guilt, your shame, and your bitter regrets until your back is entirely broken. Drop the baggage right at the door. You do not need it anymore. I fiercely promise you today, if you will simply take one tiny step and draw near to me, I will violently run to draw entirely near to you. I have totally removed every single excuse you could ever possibly invent. You cannot say you are too dirty, because the violent, bloody sacrifice of the cross has washed you completely white as snow. You cannot say you are too broken, because my hands specialize in perfectly restoring shattered things. You cannot say you do not know how to pray, because I have clearly told you that your simple tears are entirely fluent in my ears. The complete sufficiency of my son's sacrifice has absolutely leveled the playing field. There is nothing standing between us right now except your own hesitation. I am completely filled with deep anticipation at this exact second. I am waiting on the absolute edge of my seat for your very next word. Will you continue to ignore me and walk directly back into the loud, chaotic noise of your stressful life? Or will you finally stop, bow your head, and answer the Father who is fiercely fighting for your soul? The choice is entirely yours. I will not force you, but I am practically begging you to choose true life. Breathe in deeply. Feel the literal air filling your lungs. That breath is a direct gift from me, meant to give you the strength to finally say yes. Let the intense friction in your weary mind completely cease. Let the massive war inside your chest come to a total, absolute end. I declare my final benediction directly over your life right now. Peace be absolutely unto you, my beloved child. I am right here. Please answer me. You have stepped out of the shadows to answer my ultimate call at the mercy seat, and now I am asking you to hold that heavy door open for the rest of humanity. I am directly inviting you to become my hands and feet in this very second, funding the massive broadcast of my relentless love to the uttermost parts of the earth. Your giving is a mighty river of living water rushing directly into the dry, barren wastelands of millions of desperate, dying hearts. Hear my living word, give, and it will be given to you in a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and fiercely running over into your lap. When you financially stand with this channel, I will wrap your family in an unbreakable shield of favor and release a miraculous harvest that outlives your generation. Seal your absolute yes today by giving a generous super thanks, joining as a member, or sowing your seed through the PayPal link in the description right now. My precious child, the door of grace is standing wide open, and I am actively waiting for your very next word. Do not let this divine moment pass you by, slipping quietly back into the cold shadows of your silent fears. I invite you to break the heavy silence today and loudly answer my eternal call. Go into the comments right now and type this unbreakable declaration of faith. Lord, here I am. I am answering your call today. Let this bold, public yes completely shatter your heavy chains and officially ignite our unbroken, lifelong conversation. I am listening, my beloved. Speak to me right now. Amen.